This is a Gigapan unit. The Gigapan actually came from Mars. The MER rovers sent back, the Mars exploration rovers sent back huge numbers of images. And the question was, what do you do with those images? And my boss, Randy Sargent, and some other people said, we should stitch them together to make panoramas. And when they did that, people went wild. People were able to explore Mars in a way that they couldn't before. The experience of looking at a photo is you look at a photo. The experience of looking at a video is you watch a video. But the experience of interacting with a large, high-resolution panorama is you explore the panorama. And so people went wild. And Randy said, what if we could take that same passion, that same people caring, and bring it to the Earth, and have people care about the Earth, care about people on the Earth. And so now, several years later, it exists in multiple forms. Any way that you can capture a mosaic of images, you can then stitch together and you can put on the Gigapan site. We don't care how you collected that data. So we have, one of the projects we've done is connected the electronics of a Gigapan to a scanning electron microscope.
Ah, yes.
The same process. We're working on connecting them to other microscopes as we speak. You can set it on a tripod, and then you tell it, I want to go from here to, you set the upper left, the lower right, or you can do a 360, and it automatically does that for you. You can also then repeat that. You don't have to push the button. You don't have to worry about manually moving it and having the alignment right. So it just simplifies the process. What we're doing is changing the way you see. When you look at a Gigapan image, when you start thinking that it's not just the resolution I see when I look from here to here to here, but actually I could zoom in and see details, you suddenly have to compose your images. You have to think about things like, if I took an image right here versus moving a foot to the side, I'll have dramatically different results. So you start doing things, I start doing things like, it feels like what they did in the Renaissance when they discovered perspective, where they would put interesting things at all the vanishing points. Your eye would be drawn to it. And in the same way, I want natural frames in the landscape, say tree branches, whatever, and even overhead of something, to frame things. There's two really interesting things about the time dimension that are really fascinating. One, for a long time I was trying to go for this fiction of a moment in time, that we were capturing a moment, but you're not. So we have ghosts, you have half of a person, you have a leg that just appears in a shot, and you can, and horribly distorted people at different times. But these artifacts are, at one, you can use Photoshop, you can get rid of them, you can do different things, but they're also kind of the point that you're capturing a series of moments. And then the second thing is we're actively working on, and this is something that links into very highly with the geo world, how do we add a time dimension? How do you do a time-lapse Gigapan? And the really interesting thing about that, I was just talking with Sofia Parafina, and they're trying, that is the problem right now in mapping, is how do you deal with large tile caches over time? I think that this idea of how we deal with tile caches is exactly the same problem we have with Gigapans, with time-lapse Gigapans. And I'm really, again, I just 5 minutes ago talked with Sophia about this, and I'm really excited because there's a lot of people who really want this problem solved for a lot of different reasons. So we're going to have the tools to be able to manage it.
Great, wonderful. Next steps looking good. So thank you very much, Rich.
Thank you.